7th win here in the Saxon Ring on row 1. The LCR Honda, he's on row 3, and it's Bagnaia, Brins Alex on row 5.
The German Grand Prix is underway, and it's a rocket start there on the outside for Zarco, but Quattrovaro's coming. The Aprilia of 3 and turn 4, he's slightly wide though on the approach to turn 5.
Here. He loves to be leading in the Saxon Ring, and he'll attack the Ralph Waldman curve for the first time. Blind entry, flat out in 4th gear on a MotoGP bike.
He's not close enough into turn 13 in the background. Brad Binder
on his side at the Saxon Ring. Marc Marquez on the 93 Repsol Honda leading the way. First corner.
Miguel Oliveira just struggling to get going in the early stages of this.
He's P21, he's in P21 now. Franco Morbidelli had a shocking first lap. He's last, down in 22nd.
Excellent drive though, down the hill. He pulls up alongside Marc Marquez. He's going to have a look. He's
trying to fight back through at turn 13. He made this move on the
again up the inside of Fabio Quartararo in the battle for 4th.
Maverick Vinales had a nightmare second lap, was the conquered the pack. First 2 laps he's pinched the lead from Oleh Spargo, and this time can Oleh Spargo be close enough to retaliate?
He had the fight for the podium and maybe even the win. Here comes Zarco then trying
to... There was no way through for Oleh on the Aprilia. Find him.
Further back there then Fabio Quartararo, not where he wanted to be on the 4th lap of this German.
He's right on the rear tyre now of his teammate Miguel Oliveira.
The factory Ducati rider looking to find a way through on Zarco. We're on board with the Aussie now.
Yeah, it was the rear stability here as you're carrying a lot of speed on the momentum through turn number 11.
Where they want to be across the board.
Yeah, Oliveira's got into his groove now.
He's just 22 flat. They're still some way off that all-time lap record set by Marc Marquez.
Results to keep his seat in that KTM ride. It just looks like, well, they're both blaming each other, of course.
Oleh Spargo also thinking about
now, well, they're made in the top 10. He's much faster than anybody else ahead of him, but he's down in 20.
Quartararo, Alex Rins doing a great job in the early stages of this one. Is holding off Joan Mir. Mir's getting frustrated in 10th place.
Yeah, not the easiest.
3/4 of a second slower than they can on those new and trying to manage, to make sure he finishes.
Yeah, thanks for that, Simon. Also,
it's a 3rd. We talked about riders having a shocker. Simon Crafar is just reporting from pit lane. There are a few spits of rain at the moment. The Italian.
That means that at any point now you can come in to change for wets. If you'll be able to see the leader, and he'll be thinking, hang on, this actually could turn into quite a day. Oliveira is through on Zarco. Oliveira now starting to charge. Jack Miller trying to corner. Drama, here goes Oliveira, that's brave on the curve.
Holds up that advantage, he's perfectly placed, then made the call. He's been so good at judging, changing track conditions. Quattararo fires.
So clearly not comfortable with the rain. There's a lot here with Joan Zarco looking at fellow Frenchman Fabio Quartararo. They are 1 and 2 in the World Championship. Then they might, but let's see how it all pans out. There's Quattararo then still ahead of Zarco in the battle for 5th. Binder behind them here.
Tyre preservation mapping just to soften the power. We expect with about 10 laps to go is where the significant drop off for Michelin. It's all about who can manage the left grip.
He's doing a great job, the rookie 9th at the moment ahead of Pole.
They're at the moment on the quicker riders by quite some distance. The only 2 men that are in the 121s. Miller set his personal best. Marquez
keeping a keen eye on
just the pace.
16 to go.
Yeah, Marquez again. He responded, he's man behind him, and again, there's nobody else in the race that can find a 120.
There's a long error.
Just cannot get that gap down to under 1.7 seconds. There are 2 Yamaha men really struggling. A really strong podium for Quattararo.
It's come down to 1.6 in sector 3.
Managing the rear tyre. Yeah, that's impressive. Marc Marquez then back in the 22s. Binder and Zarco coming from 6th.
He could see that Miller was struggling there on the exit of turn 11. Quattararo, the Frenchman, the championship leader then, is onto the podium. Again, across the line, the leader's come.
Right now, we keep mentioning it's Bagnaia. He was down to a 21.849. He did so on medium rear tyres. He has got right now where Oliveira's nibbled time away from Marc Marquez. They're a long way clear, those 2.
Bagnaia, he's stuck behind Jorge Martin and take so much confidence flowing for his race. He's coming, here comes Brad Binder now, up the inside of Oleh Spargo, having a good ride.
Podium pace, unquestionably.
Well, there's at the same time, now wouldn't that be something?
A cracking ride by Binder. And again, it must be now double-figure laps in succession that Oliveira has been 1.1 seconds time in his pocket as well. Zarco to triumph in Valencia 2019, slightly quicker, just under a 10th faster than Marc Marquez as we start lap 25.
It's the man of the era through sector 3. What does it look like on the approach to turn 13? Santi,
10 laps ago, the guy was 15th. As soon as he clicked into his rhythm, and Zarco
Yeah, great job from
He had a
Bagnaia.
grip here, big time on that rear.
Here is Quartararo. He would extend his lead going into Assen.
Motorcycling comebacks, you think of Mick Doohan in 1992, his horrible legging 300 winner last
Absolutely.
weekend after such a serious back
Go
injury.
when we cross the line next time.
Yeah, we'll keep a very close eye on it. Pit Byra has been absolutely phenomenal, supreme. Looks like he's finally broken Oliveira's resistance to get that.
Last to MotoGP action. The biggest crash of Marc Marquez. It's been a sorry story, it's been a sad one. He had an emotional return. Determination to come back, to compete. He worked so hard in that test in Catalonia. He wanted to be ready for this one.
And what must mental and physical turmoil that this man has gone through over the last a fairy tale.
He's had some tough times in the last few months, Marquez.
He is going to remain the undisputed king of the Saxon ring. What a comeback.
He's back, ladies and gentlemen, and still the king of the ring, Marquez.
He's done it now 11 years.
Scenes. Incredible. Shout out to the KTM guys as well. They're second and fourth. You could see it in his eyes on the grid, Saxon ring, and quite rightly, he will set off the fireworks here. And there will, well, he's dancing again now.
And you can just see Marc Marquez, he's not a rider, he's not a character, that why the tears are flooding now.
Great result for the team, for KTM. It's super. I mean, it was one lap, the lap where this rain comes, and this.
That was the time for the celebrations then that the whole of the Repsol Honda team have been waiting for.
I can imagine what this young man's been through.
Was not wrong.
He's been pushed that hard for a win in the Saxon ring. These celebrations hopefully will go on long into the night because successive year in MotoGP. It's Marc Marquez that comes to the top step of the podium in the Saxon Balmont Liqui Marquez. His 83rd Grand Prix win, his 57th in MotoGP, won